This is a National Blinded Veterans Organization video.
Well, good evening and welcome to another occasion of our NBVO support group. This one's entitled Text Talk Thursday. Yay! Said it right. Welcome to another edition of our Text Talk Thursday. Glad you're here. If you haven't been here before, most of you have, Dennis and so forth. You've been here before and you'll probably be here again. Let me say this right up front. This is the last Tech Talk for this month, and we're not going to have any next month because it's during the holiday of Thanksgiving. So we're not going to be doing a Tech Talk Thursday. So we'll resume. Is it right in December, Ray?
No, I think we're going to skip December because it's too close to Christmas.
So we're going to be out. This is the last Tech Talk Thursday for this year, and then we'll start back up again.
That's correct, sir.
Pardon me?
That is correct, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So this is our last edition for this year, but remember, we'll be back next year doing it all over again. And our next meeting, just in case we don't get that off, for our adaptive rec will be on November the 14th. That's the second week of November.
Good.
Is that correct, yo?
That is correct, yes.
Yes, it is.
All right. And but I do want to welcome you all. Also, for those who already know, that's good. But those who don't know, you can join us on our mbvo.org network on the webpage. We have Facebook. We also have a YouTube page. So we're trying to get really busy doing quite a few things. So we're making ourselves readily available for all of our veterans as we come closer and closer to getting revved up even more so. So next year, we're looking forward to be doing a few more things. And so we're glad you came on for our 2 episodes each Thursday. The first Thursday, second Thursday in each month is our adaptive rec, which is about different sports and ideal things that you can do. And then our Talk Text Thursday on our 4th Thursday of each month. So if you don't know, pass it on to someone else. You might miss a meeting, but you definitely want to make sure you share that with someone in the future. Because there seems to be quite a few people I've talked to recently who are veterans and low vision and blinded, but they're lacking some things that they need, such as equipment. I was talking to a lady today. She says she's got a 55-inch TV in her bedroom, and she has to get up to it to watch it. So you can already tell she needs the Patriot so she can sit back and watch it a little bit, or better TV. So we know that our lower vision and blinded veterans can be enhanced with what they do have, but also upgraded to something that can help them and better be adaptive for them. So again, I'm not going to waste too much time this evening. We have on our guest today, Jermy Kruid. Jermy is with VCONN, and he's going to be sharing with you some information. So I pray that you all would keep your mics muted until Jermy opens it up for Q&A. The only person will probably have his mic on will be me. And so I appreciate you guys. I am your host, so he got to have his mic on pretty much all the time. So with no any further ado, I'm going to pass the mic over to Jermy.
All right, thanks for having me. A little bit of background on what led to me starting VCONN is I got out of the Marines in 2010. In about 2013, I got diagnosed with fairly severe arthritis in my lower back. I wasn't able to find reasonable work at the time just because all of my experience was in manual labor and things like that. So basically things that I could get a job doing, I couldn't do. Things that I could do, I couldn't get the job because I didn't have any experience. Well, at the time, it took about, I want to say a year and a half to get through the VA disability system. And our only household income was from my ex-wife. And I decided that there was something wrong with the system. It's too hard. Nobody knows what they need to do to get, benefits from the VA or find organization that does, provides equipment for certain people, things like that. So I decided that somebody needed to fix it. I sat down and started teaching myself how to write Android software. And about, 8-10 years later, here we are. VCONN is a registered 501c3. We have a board of 5 members, 3 veterans, 2 family members of veterans. We just recently started hiring on interns so that we can actually get the software written faster, because I just don't have the time to do everything we need to do. So basically, to keep it short, is our goal is to connect the veteran with benefits and organizations that are available to provide services, equipment, things like that to them in a timely fashion, rather than the 6 month, year and a half, 12-year wait that they have with the VA or something like that. There are plenty of organizations around that will do little bits here and there to help them bridge the gap. And I think that getting them together will help basically everything that veterans deal with on a daily basis. Share my screen for this part. So right now we are going to be coming into a, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
All right, so early next year, we're hoping to be in a small trial period. We decided to do this meeting here when I thought we were going to be a lot farther than we are. Basically, our goal in our small trial period is we're going to be targeting veterans, like homeless veterans and recently released from jail or prison veterans. So the highest risk population we have, we are going to work on getting them into housing and treatment programs, depending on what their needs are. Of course, we're not going to decide what they need, and we're not going to try and force anybody to do anything. It's just, this is available. This would be good for you. You can get in here tomorrow, next week, whatever. So basically what they would do is they would come to our website, and you can go through. We have our icon. It says connecting veterans and their family members with the resources they need when they need it. We've got 4 links on this screen. We have get started, who we are, what we do, and donate. The only one that's really functional right now is the donate button, because everything is being basically rebuilt by the interns and the designer that we just hired on this last 2 weeks. So eventually we're going to have who we are, what we do. That's going to be descriptions of the board and a greater description of how we connect veterans with the services. But I do have a click-through version. So say you're a veteran and you click on, get started. It'll bring you to a screen. It's got our icon again. It says choose your account type. It says select if you are a veteran, underlined, or an organization, underlined. So those are links. If you click veteran, it'll bring you a place to log in. There will be another link to register if you don't have an account. But I don't think I have to describe this one too much. And then it'll bring you to a dashboard. So the goal of this is so that you can communicate with organizations that you already know about and you're already working with, and send them messages, and they can send you messages, and they don't get lost in some weird paperwork snafu and you forget who you were talking to. They lose your information to follow up, things like that. And then we're going to have another space where you can search for additional resources. So say you're looking to, you got off the streets, you got through treatment, you got a job, you're doing good, and you're looking to buy a house, then you could go in there and say, all right, what are my VA benefits in my state and my local county benefits and whatnot for buying a house? Because, you know, you can get a loan through the VA. It's actually a very good loan. I've had 2 of them. Most counties will give you free, depending on your disability rate, it'll be either discounted or free taxes on your home, things like that. Most of us probably know that. And then you'll have a list of requests, and this is a short list. We're going to expand from here, but say you requested information from disability assistance organization over here, where you're trying to get a piece of equipment so you can do the sports that David was talking about, or something like that. That'll be in there, and you'll be able to know, like, I should follow up with these people. They haven't gotten back to me. It's like 2 weeks. And that is the basics. We do plan to integrate directly with the VA. So we are going to be able to, you know, within a reasonable level of certainty, verify your veteran status. Things off the top of my head that I know we will be able to get is your available education benefits. We can pull your disability rate. Long term, we're hoping to be able to actually integrate so VSOs can start doing information through here and filing claims and things like that. It's stuff that's available, but we're not going to do right away because that's a heavy lift. We have lots of thoughts and plans, and we're hoping to go to really big places and make this a really big organization that can actually help a lot of people.
Awesome. Hey,
Did you want me to go through the organization side of this?
why don't you do that? Give us a complete rundown of the organization. Kind of elaborate if you need to.
So if you choose organization instead of veteran, you go to a different login page, and you go through your login, enter your email and password, and then they get a different dashboard. They get a dashboard where they can see, like, oh, these are the veterans I'm working with. This is where this guy is in this system. He's been to these meetings. Then he should move on to, we're going to recommend that he move on to this program, or we can refer him over to this housing authority over there, things like that. They're going to have to be able to see the messages that are being sent to them from veterans. And it's going to be real time or very, very close to real time information. They're going to be able to see who's making requests for what. They're going to also post specifically what services they do. So that way the veterans on the other side can search for specific assistance. So if you're really into I forget what it's called, the horse stuff, that's supposedly really good for people. I haven't tried it, I don't know. But you'll be able to search, like, hey, I want to look for this, and be able to hopefully find it if it's available. The organization's also going to be able to post out their needs, because specifically these nonprofit organizations, some of them are oversupplied on some things and severely undersupplied on others. And they could always use more. They can use volunteers. They can use the right type of donations at any given time. They're going to want certain things at Christmas that'll be different than certain things in the summertime, so that they'll be able to update that as they want. And they're going to be able to post events that they're hosting. So if let's say there's an organization that's having they're having doing a 5K or something, they'll be able to post that to here, and veterans will be able to find it, and everybody's gonna be able to see it, and we will try and find a way to help promote it. Not sure what that's gonna look like just yet. We're gonna do as much as we can to help both sides of the situation, just to make it more efficient and actually help people in a positive way rather than a frustrating way.
So, did you want to open it up for any questions? Because I'm sure there's quite a few questions out there they want to ask, because it sounds very interesting that this organization provides services to veterans, but primarily, I'm gonna ask the first question, primarily the primary people that you will be helping through the veterans is, what are their categories?
First, we're starting off with the highest risk. So we're going directly in our test run early next year, hopefully, is going to be homeless and recently released from incarceration.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we are helping as many people as possible that are at the highest risk of bad situations.
I see a hand raised.
I got a question.
Terry Dodge. Go ahead, Terry.
I had to unmute my mic, sorry. If we're doing questions in here, just before my question, I guess maybe if you can enlarge the screen thing.
Yeah. Because some of our people are low vision, so you may have to explain what's on your screen so that.
Yeah, I mean, that screen you're showing really isn't necessary, I don't think. Is it?
For those who can see, it's okay. But for those who can't see, we want to describe what's on the screen.
This will be a new attempt for me to see what I can do.
Okay.
No, I was wondering if you can make yourself bigger.
Make myself bigger?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I can.
I'm sorry.
You see me better, so stop sharing.
Oh, I misunderstood that.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to.
There we go. I see it now.
Oh, you mean take off your screen share?
Yeah, I thought you were trying to do something.
Well, yeah, it sounds like what you're doing there is pretty great. And I'm a fellow Marine, by the way, hoorah. Looks like you took on a big job there, Skippy.
I mean,
you're talking about not
big.
getting people trying to take their frustration away. You're taking it all, aren't you?
If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big, and I'm going to do it right.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
When I was thinking about it initially in like 2014, I would have been happy to have just like a list that you could search and find things. But I've just gotten so much better, and I know so much more right now that's. I mean, it would be something, but it really wouldn't be all that valuable. The board is very excited, and I actually have to calm them down sometimes as to what is feasible to get done in a certain time frame.
Right.
So
especially we are just looking at raising money right now, looking for grants, donations, things like that. So everything, I am doing this volunteer on my own time. The interns are doing this volunteer. Well, they're interns, so like one or two of them are getting college credit. But aside from that, they're not getting paid. This is on their own time. The board is not getting paid. It's on their own time. And the board's meeting just about every week right now, trying to get everything hammered out for next year.
it sounds very exciting. Congratulations. I hope it comes through for you the way you want it to.
Thank you.
There's another hand that's been raised. You see who it is, Ray?
This is
That
Brian.
was Brian.
Mr. Jeremy, I appreciate everything that you do. My name is Brian Harris. I am from Chicago. I help the homeless on Christmas and Thanksgiving. The question that I have with you is, you said they have to get on a web-based system to enroll. The thing that I've encountered, because I've been doing this since I was 12 years old. So I'm 46 and 47 now. So I've been doing this quite a while. We have people that are been incarcerated, and they kind of been institutionalized, and they're veterans, and they don't have a way to get out of that loop. And we have homeless people that figure that they can make more money being homeless than they can with the programs that are being presented. So the question is, because I'm doing this Thanksgiving, I already donated $200 to help other people that are less fortunate, because I don't like to say homeless. Do I have to take my iPad out and have them create emails? And how are they going to check the emails? Because if you notice, the libraries are public, but they're not public to the homeless. So how can we help you help them? That's my question, sir.
Actually, I'm going to reframe that. And the reason it's not in a more finished state right now is because we are communicating with organization leaders like yourself. Down here we have, it's called VAST. That's one kind of umbrella organization that is kind of doing what we're doing, but on a much smaller scale than we're trying to do it. And it's a local thing in Houston where they provide, less fortunate people, as you said. There's one place they can go in, they can take showers, use a computer, go do a lot of hygiene things. They pass out meals, things like that every day. I believe that's actually a offshoot of the VA, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's like another group that, especially I'm told, like veterans coming out of prison frequently don't have documents. They don't have their ID or their DD-214 or this or that or the other thing. So we can also the goal is to also link them up with them so they can get their documents together. And because they're going to need the documents to get into the really valuable program. I did skip over a little part in the website is we want to actually store those documents that are necessary and collect the information that is necessary so it can be automatically given to an organization that you're working with. You can say, share my information with them and them and them and nobody else. And it'll be stored. We are doing a lot of research into encryption and storage and things like that right now for that purpose. But we're going to do everything we can to like streamline this and make it as easy as possible. I think getting back to your question, our number one goal, one of our board members was formerly one of the leaders of the Harris County VSO office. He did like a lot of the outreach. And so he knows kind of what it looks like when they come out of jail downtown here, or prison, I think it's jail, and who to talk to there so that we can get in front of them as they're leaving. And my personal goal for this is to be able to show and track somehow a reduction in recidivism. And if we can prove, or at least come up with a reasonable set of data to give to, call it Harris County or whoever would be necessary, and say, this is a program that reduces recidivism. We want to have one of our people go in to your jail, like call it once a week, and register people so they can set up appointments. So the second they get out, okay, I can go over here, I can get food. I've got my $20 gift card that they give them to take the bus over there. They'll refer me over to these people over here that are going to get me into a treatment program. And then I'm going to go over to this place and they got some bridge housing or some temporary housing. So they can get out and actually be set up when they get out. That is the goal. That's not where we are, but that is the goal.
You know what? And I thank you, sir. And like I said in the beginning, this is a phenomenal program. I am in a city where we have 3.5 million people and almost 1.2 million are homeless. So I think y'all are doing a phenomenal job. I'm trying to ask, how can I help y'all help them? That's all, sir.
I think the best way you can help us help them is right now is just feedback. What do you need for us to help you? Because I mean, we're going to have hopefully have people on the ground trying to get people logged in and signed up, and get organizations signed up. And we're going to grow as as quickly as I believe we can without screwing up, basically.
And another question, sir. Do you have information so I could distribute as I'm doing this food drive on Thanksgiving and Christmas?
We do have a little one-page kind of an introduction. It's made to hand out to donors. I could email that to you.
But sir, if you could email that to me, I could print it out on my own printer, and that would help phenomenally. So thank you so very much, sir.
Yeah. If anybody wants something, you can just email me. It's Jermy, Jeremy at VCONN.org. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Where's my chat?
David King, my question is, when you talk about preparing them for recidivism, how soon do you go into the jails and prison system is it prior to their being released? Or, I mean, they're going to be released in 30 days, then you go in and you share that information with them, or is that preliminarily shared with them in advance before their 30 days prior to getting out? When is the soonest that you get into the prisons and the jail, if you can, when you can?
This is a question for me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's something we would have to hammer out with, I'm sure, each jail system and get approval, because they're not just going to let random people walk in.
Right.
And get directly in front of prisoners. So that's why for starters, we're going to meet them at the door. If we can get approval to get in the door, then we will start working on, like, maybe we send somebody once a week and people can line up and come, and we see how it works. Or maybe we can get lined up with somebody there. I'm told they do have, at least this jail they have iPads with very, very limited internet access. And we are doing Android and iOS applications as well. So they would be able to, if it got approved that they could use this app on those tablets, then they could do it through there too.
Okay. My next question would be, how close are you working with VSO? Are they close in? Do they direct you? They share with you things, or you sharing with them in order to set up those people, whether they be, I'm not going to use the word, unless I'm going to use the word disadvantage, or those who are coming out of prison system?
Mm-hmm. Right now we're getting, so Jake, one of our board members, like I said, he's formerly was in charge of the outreach for the Harris County VSOs. So we're using a lot of his feedback. When it comes down to it and we're comfortable that we have a system that is working, he has been through the George Bush leadership program, and he has shown me a list of, like, it was like 50 people that are leaders in their organizations that we're going to reach out to directly. So we're just going to reach out to them. He knows the people at the Harris County office, so we're going to reach out to them once we know we got something working. And we're going to have to figure out, there's going to be certain different ways to handle each situation. Like a food pantry is going to handle a certain amount of very minimal amount of information. It's going to be more of a, this is a place where you can get food, versus if you're getting referred to a psychiatrist, then you're getting into medical records, possibly, potentially, and that is something that we take very seriously, and we are not going to mess around with, which is why it's probably not going to be something that's right away. It'll be down the road, but we will work with anybody that will give us good information. I want as much information as possible. That way we can make the best decisions we can make.
So your company becomes a resource for our veterans who are at a low disadvantage or coming out of prisons. So the resources of information for jail or prison, the resources of information available for them, we can carry to them too if we know them personally, or we can make that accessible so they'll know what services are rendered by VCONN for our veterans. And I guess my next question would be, where do you find them? I mean, where do you go look for these homeless veterans, or are they already coming to centers and places where you can help them? Are they voluntarily coming in, or what?
For Houston local, specifically, we're going to partner with VAST on a lot of that. So they already go in there to those organizations, and then we can go in and say, hey, this is something that we have. It's really helpful for people, things like that. The outreach is going to be the biggest difficulty I expect over this whole line, because half of the battle is getting a veteran to admit that they need help. Oh. So if we can get them on here and to stay in 1 or 2 programs for however long. I recently read a research study for my master's degree. It said veterans in treatment programs that also have consistent housing are 66% more likely to complete that treatment program. So, I mean, their measurement of completing was like 3 visits, but that's, better than you're going to get from most. So that's what the goal is to meet them where they are and do what we can to get them to take the first step. It would be it coming out of prison, if we have an event somewhere, or I know a lot of places, especially the bigger cities, have the what are they called, the veteran stand downs. That typically is specifically for there's a name, there's a word they use for recently released veterans, and I keep trying to but I'm really bad at remembering specific phrases. It'd be like, instead of saying, it would be like saying disadvantage instead of homeless type thing. But we are going to reach out as many places as we can. To make the answer short, we're going to reach out as many places as we can to as many people as we can, so that we can make the time spent by the organizations. Like, I need to be very clear on this. We are not providing services.
Okay, that's clarifying. Okay.
We are, right now we are not providing any services. Okay. The services that they will be provided by are the organizations that are already providing services. Okay. So by us getting the veterans to them, they can spend less time doing outreach and more time and money doing the services. So hopefully we can get the veterans to them rather than them having to go hunt them down. And we do the hunting down, and then we get them in and they can get the services that they need.
So you're an assistant service. You assist them in getting back on their feet.
To put it in a term that is common, but I don't like in this, it's kind of a referral situation, but we're doing so much more than just, we're trying to do so much more than just referring that I don't like using that term. Our goal is to be more like, Salesforce. We want to be more like Salesforce for these organizations, handling their back end, setting up appointments, making sure they have the documents that they need so they can just get somebody in and the guy doesn't have to sit there and fill out the same paperwork that he's filled out 900 times already, like his social security number, his no fixed address, all of these things that you guys know. If you go like to the VA, you have to fill it out 10 times.
Yeah.
Every time you go there. If you're applying for a new benefit, they know your social, they know your name, but you still got to fill it out again in triplicate. So these are the kind of things that we're trying to cut down on and to make it simpler, more efficient, and just more streamlined. So it actually is not it's at least a less frustrating experience than it currently is.
Yeah, I would imagine most of them come out really ready to get started, to do something. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they want to go back to the same old trap that they came out of that got them in the predicament in the very first place. So I noticed you said earlier that you try to get them started as soon as possible. Hope that they will complete the programs that has been referred to them. I know you don't like to use the word refer, but I would change it to assisting. Where you're
assisting. I've kicked around coaching, assisting, something like that. I've talked to a guy. He is a professor of, I forget what the exact term is, conflict management, basically, negotiations, that type of a thing. Mm-hmm. And I talked to a therapist also, and basically what we want to make sure we don't do is try and come in as some kind of an authority telling them what to do, but more like a friend or an assistant or a coach that is saying, this is what is available. This will help you this way. This will help you this way. This will help you this way. It's your choice. We're not forcing you. If you're not ready, you're not ready. But now you know, now you have the information that you need, should you need it.
I'm sure you're using aggression and letting them know. I know you're being delicate and gentle with them as you're handling them, because you don't want to be pushy, forcey, and all that. However, they're more in need of your services or referrals than you are in need of them. You're trying to help them. So what is the turnabout time for, I know you said earlier, 60% of them will probably never finish what they start, but I guess probably the good question, what is the percentage of turnabouts that they turn around and get their life together? Because I know there's got to be some success stories, even though we know there's always somebody who's still going to go back and do what they always done because that's all they know how to do. But what's the turnaround rate for those who are anxious about getting their life back together?
So when we start our test early next year, that is when we're going to start tracking that. And we're going to track specifically who continues, who keeps logging, using our system, not using, whatever else, who keeps logging into the system and going to like this appointment or that appointment, and who falls off, how many of them fall off. And it's probably going to be a fair assumption that the ones that fall off after one treatment or therapy meeting probably went back to whatever they were doing. More than likely, it's going to have to be the assumption.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jeremy, because that was the question that I had, in general, because like I said, like I can go down there and I can bring out my iPad because my iPad got its own phone line and I can sign people up. But, being un, unfortunate, they don't have access to computers, and you really don't. If you're in Chicago, let's just say on Lower Wacker Drive in Chicago, we have people that are staying in refrigerator boxes or cardboard boxes or self-made tents or whatever. So they don't have that wash facility because people think they look at them differently. And I'm just like I said, in the city of 3.5 million people, they walk over them. They don't think they exist. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
they're
try to
more or less
tell them,
invisible to most people.
right. So when you try to tell them, okay, there's hope on the other side of the rainbow, you just got to get to this website. It's hard trying to go into a library or get somebody to help you use your computer because they're thinking like, oh, you're going to steal the computer. So, like I said, can you help me help them? Because I want them to see a better day. Everybody should not wake up in gloom. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Especially if they're veterans and they serve this country. They should not be under a bridge or under a viaduct, sitting there like shoulda, coulda, woulda, and they got benefits they have no idea they are allowed. So
Right.
that's why I'm so passionate about this program. So help me help them. How can you help me help them, sir?
In that specific situation, I think if we continue as the plan I have in my head and we get people out to the places that they go. So you got your food pantries, things like that, and we'll do events, try and get into the whatever veterans things are going on, right? Being out in front of them and saying, this is a thing, you can get help. It's not hard. You don't have to admit it's not, you haven't failed. Okay, you've been through rough, you've had rough time, but it can get better. And I know this because I've rock bottomed at least once, crying on my kitchen floor, just from stress of not being able to work, not knowing how things were going. And I wasn't to the point where I would get mental health assistance for a while. I pulled myself out of it for about 3 or 4 years before I started getting assistance. And that's while I was working on this. So I understand the resistance that a lot of people are going to have. And that's one of the reasons that I'm staying in contact with Alan, because that is going to be the biggest friction point that I see, is getting them to take that first step. And just like you said, you can lead them to assistance, but you can't make them take it. There's only so much that we're going to be able to do, but we want to do that much.
Well, the struggle that you're doing and the job that you're doing is great. I know it sides along with other agencies outside of this that does the same thing for people with alcohol addiction, drug addictions, all of those things. So you're corresponding with what they're doing. So what is the priority, the first priority when they come out? I'm sure food is one of the necessary. You're gonna have to eat and shelter. Mm-hmm. So what comes after those priorities right there? What is the next thing they're going to need?
In the vast majority of cases, it's probably going to be some kind of a mental health assessment assistance, be it a psychiatrist, a therapist, something like that, because everybody talks about, drug addiction in the veterans, in PTSD, veterans with PTSD, homelessness in veterans, or this or that, or veteran suicide. But there's only really one problem. This is mental health. If you can get them housed, dried up, and mentally healthy, they'll be fine. Those are like the 3 pillars. There's a lot of other stuff that can go on around that will make them feel good. There's a lot of organizations that do veterans getaways and things like that. And that stuff is good. And that might be what gets somebody to come in and do the therapy. But those are the three things, in my opinion. I don't have the data yet to back it up. In my opinion, that if you have housing, you have food, and you're mentally healthy, you will be fine. You will find a way through whatever it is you're going through. Now, if you're perfectly fine living on the street, there's not really much that we can do about it. If you don't want help, there's not much we can do about it. We can keep talking, we can keep putting ourselves out there, we can do what we can, but if they don't want help, there's not really much we can do. But if we can prove that this is a system that does work and we get people through those three things, maybe, just maybe, more will be willing to take that step to get off the streets, to apply for their disability, to see a therapist, things like that. And that's the goal.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I'll ask a question or something, I guess. This is Terry. So I take it you're going to have to put people in contact with the VA centers first, right?
We're actually leaning more into the local organizations to start, because they will give you help now. The VA is slow, and yes, we're looking to have people that will help them with their, whatever claims they need to file, but it's very, very slow.
But you have to be in the VA
transitional housing tomorrow.
You have to be in the VA health system though to get the ball rolling, though, don't you? Eventually, they have to sign up, I would think.
There is a system in place that we can check the VA and see if they are eligible for VA benefits. Don't want to get into too detailed, but we can check if they are eligible, and we can let organization or whatever know that yes, this is, as long as you verify this is this person, they are eligible for VA benefits if that's a requirement that you have. I think it's about 80% accurate, and it's as accurate as the VA system itself. So as long as they're putting in the right information, they should get the right information back. The only problem is if like something got lost in the transmission from DOD to VA, or specifically with older veterans before it was everything was digitized, their file got lost, or they don't have their whatever card it was called back in the day. That's the kind of thing where the person that we have that helps get documents, so driver's license, things like that, could probably assist with those things.
Can I make a comment real quick? I heard what you said about the DOD and Department of Veterans Affairs. For the last 18 months, they collaborated. So if you are working under the DOD side, the VA has accountability of every record you have. So if they go into a VA facility, even if they don't know their discharge dates, they don't have any information, the VA is able to go back into their DOD records.
Once everything got digitized, the transfer got a lot more effective. I will say the VA is getting better, believe it or not. It's just, it doesn't seem like it on the ground. If you're in one of the bigger cities, at least. I know DeBakey here down in Houston is crowded.
You know what? Trust me, I believe you, sir. I'm not gonna not debate you on that, because I'm in Chicago and they are very slow. We have like three VA centers, and you can only get real information from one. So I understand, the complaints and the concerns. So, but I know, they're merging the systems so the VA can know what the DOD is going on. So. That's
And
all.
that whole thing will just make our job easier if there's less errors in their systems. So
Yes, sir.
we can, if there's no errors in their system, there shouldn't be any errors in our system as long as they're entering the right information, which might also be an issue that we kind of, because if somebody's at no fixed address and they put their address in, put a wrong address in to check if they're eligible, that might cause a problem. I haven't gotten too far into what specifically we need from each, for each, to check each eligibility for you know, disability or VA healthcare or this or that. But if they show up as eligible, we could say, all right, you need to go, if you go to the VA over here, you can get registered and they can set you up with appointments even before, like, all at one time. They can set you up with an appointment at either a clinic or at the hospital, and they can actually get you getting healthy, you know. VA in Houston, I think you're looking at like a 3 to 6 month wait, depending on what your appointment is for. But you can also go in, they have emergency services, so you can go into an emergency room and the VA emergency room, and you can get help there if need be. The hardest part about this is trying to imagine all of the issues that can come up and be able to, like, hone it down to, we can actually help with this right now. And that's why we're focusing on the highest risk groups that we can think of, because we can make the biggest impact with the highest risk group the fastest. And that's what's really going to propel us forward, is if we can say, this is what we can do. We reduced recidivism, we reduced addiction, people are continuing through, they're getting out of the judicial system, they're getting into permanent housing when they follow this system. And that is what we want our test to kind of show, or at least start to show. Then we can go out and we can say this to, like, big money donors, the people that put out their, I lose words all the time, it's just a thing. The grants that they give out, things like that, we can apply for them and actually say, this is what our system does. And if we get too much money, God forbid, maybe we shell that out to other organizations that need it. That's something I would love to do, to be able to take care of, you know, whatever, to be able to help as much as we can would be the goal.
Jeremy, I have a question, sir. I know you're about tired of hearing my voice anyway, but I got a question. So you know how these individuals that are high risk, as you call them, like, do we have any psychiatrists or figure out what pushed them to that situation? Because so we have some veterans that go and rob because they had to pay bills because they had children, or we have other people that did drugs because they had other issues. So do we have, like, I mean, because you want them to go on the website to get help, but are they getting the efficient help that they need? Like, do we have psychiatrists or psychologists that determine what triggered them to go this way? Because I don't know if you noticed, sir, I've had 4 strokes, 2 surgeries, and I lost my eyesight. So when you say, oh, well, you hit rock bottom, sir, I've hit rock bottom. So that's why I am so dedicated in what you're doing, because guess what? I still got 2 kids that are finna graduate, and I am a single father. So I am very much interested in what you're doing. So how can I, like I say, I'm asking the same question all the time. How can I help you help them? That's it.
I mean, so the biggest help once we get it rebuilt and out, and I will let David know when that happens for sure, that, I mean, maybe I come back on, I don't know, that's up to him. But
Yeah.
let the organizations know that it's available, get them on there. And then when you talk to a veteran, just be like, this is a thing, look at this. Do you have access to the internet? Or probably one of the best things you could do is there is likely a place where they can get internet access. They might get kicked out of a library, but there might be like the one down here that's a offshoot of the VA. They have computers with internet access where they can get on a computer for, you know, a limited amount of time depending on demand. But they also have offices where I would like to have somebody sit in there and sign people up for us. So even people that are like the older generations that are less tech savvy might get scared if you say, hey, website or app. And like, no, I don't want to do that. And then, okay, we can get you in here, and then we're probably going to have a way that if we get them into the system, that the organizations they work with can actually add in information for them. So that way it's less of a strain on them. So it's like, they don't have to keep up with which appointment they went to, which one they didn't, because the organization is gonna be able to like, yes, they went to this one, no, they didn't do this one, things like that. Yes, we gave them food, we gave them socks, that kind of thing.
How, one last question, and then we'll wrap it up for the night. I would think that when most people come out of those situations, or those lowly situations in which they come, the first thing they need to be is have a way to communicate with anyone, or have a phone. I know Obama phones or whatever kind of phones are available, so that they can make appointments, they can receive and make calls to places that could help them, such as the services that are recommended to them. I would think that a cell phone would be the essential tool for them to have first. Not food. I mean, food is important. Shelter is too. But
if they've been homeless for a while, they know where to find food.
Yeah, they know how to find food real quick. Yeah. But
like, it's not good food, but it's food.
I'm sorry?
It's not good food, but it's food.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to get them eating healthy. Yeah,
I know the jail downtown, I think it is, or the prison around here, from what Jake tells me, when they get out, they get a $20 gift card and a prepaid cell phone with X number of minutes on it. So
they do get that phone. That is essential too.
They get a contact method that they can use to get started. I assume it's probably a cheap flip phone that they're not going to be able to get on the internet, but they will be able to call up somebody and say,
it's a start.
What can I do?
Yeah, it's a start.
Right.
Well, Jeremy, thank you for coming on tonight and explaining to us what VCONN is for, services rendered to our veterans who are less fortunate, and some of those who are returning back into the community from incarceration. This is a serious method. Some of these are we're talking about primarily our veterans who are going through this, and they shouldn't have to go through this, but somewhere along the line, nobody is perfect. Things do happen. We get caught up in some things, but knowing that there are services available for those veterans gives us a resource for us, when we hear and know about those kind of things going on, that we can refer them to your company. And if there's anything, like Brian said, we can do that y'all can lead us into doing for them, leading them to something that we don't know, maybe we ought to be connecting resources with each other. So whatever we see out here, because we're probably seeing a lot based on the veterans that we're looking at, and then you're seeing it in pretty much just the Houston area. But I guess the last thing would be making sure that our veterans who are in these predicaments and coming out of them, that we do everything we can to help them. So I appreciate what you're doing. Again, thank you for coming on this evening for us. And yes, if you have updates, if you have anything that we need to know that is very useful toward VCONN, please let Kelly know. I mean, sorry, Ray know, and Ray will get in touch with us and we'll do this again and bring you back on to update us, okay?
Okay. Yeah, the best thing you can do if you want to help us is let us know how we're doing. Are we helping veterans and are we helping you?
Okay,
How can we do it better? That's the best thing you can do to help us help you. Let
absolutely.
us know how to help you because we don't know everything.
That's right. And we don't either, but we're working together collectively to make a difference of pretty much people. Okay. Well, thank you again for coming on, Jeremy. Appreciate you. Thank you for all of you who come on again. Remember, I told you all the next meeting will be on November the 14th, which will be our adaptive rec session. We'll be letting you know who that's going to be. I think I've already said it before. We talked about it yesterday, but we didn't talk about it today. But look forward to you coming on then. Join our Facebook page, join our NBVO, see what things are going on around you. There are still some informative information that doesn't always get documented on these on our webpage, or sometimes we don't always talk about everything that we talk on the webpage. So being interactive with all of these entities that we have before you is going to be already helpful for those who need help. And I do have a lot of people asking quite a few questions. What can I do? How can I do this? And some are still not aware of adaptive sports. And they're like, really? There's adaptive sports? Yes. And so we want to keep on continue doing what we're doing. But I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. We done already went over beyond our minutes tonight because we asked some good questions to Jeremy. I appreciate your input and output. Look forward to you all coming back on next month. So November the 14th will be the next meeting. Thank you all for coming on. See you next month.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Good meeting, Dave.
Thank you. Hey, Ray, I was on a thing last night with, I was on the,
Oh, you need to turn recording off.
okay, let me stop recording right quick. Thank you for saying that.
Okay.
Let me get to that right quick and I'll keep you on for a minute. I'm all over here doing the wrong things. Stop recording. Okay, come on. I have to enlarge the page just to see it.
I know.
You know what I mean? Hey,
I
we
feel you, man.
just well, I'll tell you what I'll do. Well, it should have been right there in stop recording. I can hit record, but I don't see maybe I'm rushing. And when I'm rushing, that's usually what makes me mess up. Caption can break all the documents. Where's my record button?
Right in the middle of the screen. There's a circle, round circle, says record.
No, it's on my it's on our no, it's not like that on my screen.
Oh, okay.
No, it's in the more button, and they can edit it out anyway. So
Okay.
they'll be able to edit out what the ad-libbing talk that we do. I might have had the wrong thing, but yeah, it's usually in here where I usually hit it anyway, and breaks, pause. There we go, pause. Didn't even know I can pause it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then when you stop pause, it'll pick up start recording right where we left off there.
Stop recording. I did it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was on I was on the thing with Anthony Woodson last night
Uh-huh.
in the book club.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, they said you were there before I got there. I got there kind of late because I didn't hear about it. And well, while we were in our board meeting, there was quite a few text messages going on about that. And so
Right.
no, I'm sure you wasn't there because of Yannicka, right?
I know.
She was very dominant when I did come on. There
Oh
was,
yeah.
yeah, very dominant. I think she more or less thought this was the Jonathan Trent show versus the book club because she was overbearing, and I just had to come in and inject a few times. I was trying to be incognito, but somebody recognized that I was in the room. I think it was Anthony. But I asked her, did she, the lady, what was her name? She was supposed to, Anthony was supposed to send me her information, but she is blind. And I was wondering, I asked her, had she talked to you?
Uh-huh.
Interview, and what they were telling me is she's saying she was not quite ready to do interviews, but we were trying to convince her, you only share what you need to share.
Right.
And so forth. So I'm going to talk to her, and this Erica Penny is listed as Ed Penny, but her name is
Right.
I did talk to her today and
Mm-hmm.
so forth, getting her ready for winter sports. She needs to be interviewed. So
Okay.
we're going to be lining up some more people because she's very talkative and she's got some things to share, but she's also very knowledgeable.
Okay.
What I learned from it. So you gotta, when you ask her a question, be specific so she will stick to the subject.
Right.
What I would do with her, I'd have me a whole list of questions just to ask her based on her background alone. What do you know? What do you learn? And then we can go from there and just because otherwise she'll take you off the subject.
Right. Well, okay.
I know you've had
I've
those.
had to rein in a few people before, so
Yeah, this ain't your first rodeo, is it?
no, sir. No, sir.
All right, but thank
I know one gentleman I usually have to rein in. He goes talking about boys to men and all kinds of stuff, you know.
that
You
was the
got to
one. He
rein
went
that
up.
guy in.
Yeah, who is that guy? My goodness.
I don't know his name. His initials are DK.
I don't know him yet. All
All right, buddy. I love you,
right.
man. I'll talk to you soon, I guess.
Okay. All right. We'll talk
So
to you next.
if you find out anybody else you need to recommend to me, just shoot me an email.
I will do that. All right, bud.
Appreciate you. All right,
All right.
buddy. Bye-bye.
All right.
This is the end of the video. Please visit us at nbvo.org.